So if you watch this video until the end, what I can tell you is the following. You will have a clear understanding about why you completely failed your resolutions in the past. And you also will have a path forward to make sure you actually hit your life's goals. That's my goal, that's my outcome for you with this video. And yes, I have fallen into the trap of this way of thinking. New year, new me? Well, no. The new year rolled around, I was still the same old person. So, in order to break down why New Year's resolutions don't work, we need to look no further than this year on the board. It is literally in the term. So, and why? That's the first part of it. And then after that, we're going to talk about the resolutions part of it. So, when I say and why, I am not talking about New Year's. To me, this represents the term not yet. There is a reason why most people fail. It is the following. I don't know when you're watching this. It could be in December, it could be in January, it could be in July, it could be in August, whatever, right? However, people think in July, oh, I have failed this year. So what I'm gonna do is next year, I'm gonna eat healthier. Next year, I'm gonna read more. Next year, I'm gonna start that side hustle. Next year, next year, next year, next year. You know what I hear? Not yet. If I had a gun, like these are guns, and I'm like pew pew pew, right? If I had a gun to the head of your loved ones, maybe your parents, maybe your friends, maybe your children, and I told you, you are going to do from today on that thing you said you were going to do on January 1st. You are going to do that every single day for a year. And if you mess up once, all of these people are gone. You are now able to do it. Because this not yet is turned into now. And the reason people have these not yet goals is because there is a lack of desire. Because think about this. If it was truly 100% important to you, why would you say, I'm going to wait 3 months to get started? Why would you say, I'm going to wait 6 months to get started? Why would you say, well, I have 40 days left this year. Let me waste those 40 years and then get started. Why would you do that? And the reason for that, in part, is because there is not a burning desire for achieving the goals that you want. For this, at the end of the video, I'm going to give you a technique that is truly going to help you hone in on why you must. Not why you want to, why you must succeed at achieving your goals. So from there on, we need to talk about two important things. Firstly, there is the PB, which is one of the reasons why this idea of New Year's resolutions is so attractive. This stands for the present bias. And it basically is a way in which our minds consistently make bad decisions for us. So I'm going to break this down, but first, there's another term I use for and why. And that is, if you've been thinking so far, this video is nice yo. If that thinking is you, then hit that like button and subscribe, because I'm going to be bringing you more content that will help you take your life from where you are to where you want to go. And this is not some BS, because the truth is, I used to be depressed, I used to be bullied, I used to be the biggest loser you can imagine. Think Forrest Gump, but like 10 times worse. That's who I used to be. And little by little, I learned how my mind works, I learned how to set goals and actually achieve them. I learned to be mentally tough, mentally strong, and I learned all of these things over a period of about 15 years of personal development. This channel is basically me being the person I wish I had in my life. So if you want to take your life to the next level, go ahead, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and let's move on to this thing, the present bias. The mistake people fall into is they think their minds are on the same team as them. They think their minds work rationally to make the best decisions and to actually adhere to those decisions. Procrastination, self-doubt, the feeling that, oh, I really should do this, and then you don't do it. Those things are proof that that is not the case. One of the ways in which our minds make mistakes is the present bias. And the way to think about these biases, cognitive biases, as we call them scientifically, it basically means this. Think about it like a computer. It is so incredibly powerful with today's technology. However, if they were programmed by a 5-year-old just randomly jamming on the keyboard, there are going to be a lot of bugs. And maybe there's even some viruses that mess up the software in your head. And cognitive biases, it's nothing more than we make irrational decisions and we make irrational choices, irrational actions in a consistent manner. Meaning that our minds are pre-programmed to not make the best decisions for us. So the present bias, I'm going to break it down for you. There is your actual reality, the right here, right now, and there is your mind, how it perceives things. So, first I'm going to break down what it is, and then I'm going to break down how the present bias makes it seem in our heads. So, you have the present moment, and you have the future. And then over here you have the same situation, present, future. Let's take exercise as an example. In the moment, you need to exert energy, which to your mind is painful. However, let's say it's this amount. Doesn't really matter. And you know, because you exercise, you will get way greater benefits in the future. That makes sense, right? Yes, exercise when you are sitting at home and you feel tired. And you're like, oh my god, I don't want to go. That is the pain your mind feels. And you know that if you do it, you will get something way greater. This is the reality, the actual situation. However, here's what the present bias does. It takes the right here, right now, this moment, and it gives way more weight to it. Meaning that this perceived bit, to your mind, it feels like this. So this part of it is the actual pain, or the actual pleasure actually. And this is how it is perceived. What it also does is it takes things in the future and it diminishes them. So this is the actual benefit, but your mind thinks it is like this. This is the perceived one, and this is the actual one. And with the present bias, your mind disregards this part and this part here. That is added on top of it. And now you see a problem. Because now when you think about your New Year's resolutions, what happens is both of these things are in the future. So this is the amount of exercise you're going to have to do, the amount of effort that you will do in the future. This is the amount of benefits you gain in the future. And now you think, you know what, January 1st, I'm going to do it. I'm going to exercise more. Because you are making this rationalization. However, when the actual moment happens, the exercise is not in the future anymore. And because your actions, the exercise, are now in the present moment, but the rewards are in the future. Now you're in this scenario, where it's reversed. Where you think that the amount of effort required is this thing, and your mind diminishes the benefits you get in the future. So it's easy to say, oh, you know what, I just don't do it today and I'll do it tomorrow. And then, you know what, one day is not gonna mess it up. Those kinds of thoughts are what happen when this thing rolls around. It's also the other way around. For example, on Tuesday, it is very, very easy to say, oh, you know what, I'm not gonna go to that party on Friday. Instead, I'm gonna study, I'm gonna work on my side project, I'm gonna do something productive. Very easy to do, because you're in this situation, where both events are in the future. Right? There is the actual benefit you get from not going to the party. There's the actual benefit you get from actually going. So in the future, in this situation, this would be the benefit of staying at home and doing something productive. This, however, is the pleasure you're going to get from going to the party. Now, Thursday comes, and it's still the situation. You still say to your friends, oh, I'm not going to go on Saturday. You know what, I'm going to do something better with my life. On Friday, same thing. You are able to do it because you are still in this situation where you can rationalize the actual benefit you get of going to the party and the actual benefit in terms of progress you're going to make when you don't go. And you spend the time on things that are important to you. And so that is an easy choice to make. However, now Saturday comes and you start feeling FOMO. Maybe in the morning you're like, I kind of wish maybe. And then the evening rolls around and it's like, you know what, I'm going. And that is because you went from this situation to this one. And what happens here is the exact opposite of what I just talked about. In this scenario, this bar over here is not the pain, but the pleasure you get from the experience. The party is fun in the moment, doing the work in the moment is not fun. Right? So this party becomes way more attractive because you add this part to it. However, what does the work entail? It means sacrificing now for something better in the future. And so the benefits you imagine from staying home and working, those are still in the future. And so this is how your mind perceives it. I know it's a long distance from where we started here with this not yet. But do you see how this makes it so that you make bad decisions? Does this make you see why New Year's resolutions sound incredibly attractive? New year, new me, right? Yay! I have changed. But wait, your mind hasn't. And that's when the reality kicks in, whereas the gyms in the first week of January are full. And mid-February, they are half empty again. That's where this thing comes in. Because it is easy to do this. So to deal with this present bias over here, there's two main techniques that I would recommend and that I've used myself. They are pre-commitment plus accountability. Because I want to get back to the main topic at hand here, I'm going to briefly cover what they are, and then in the description below this video I'm going to leave a link to a video where I talk about these in more detail. So pre-commitment. If I want to start running, what I could do is I could sign up for a marathon 3 months from now. And then I'm going to tell all of my friends, which is accountability, to hey, come cheer me on then and there. And now what I've done is I made it so that if I don't go through the exercise to train for the marathon, I will look like a fool. And now what I've done is I've attached a bit of pain to not taking action. So now taking action is painful. Not taking action is more painful as well. And then accountability. If you have people calling in, hey, how's the exercise schedule going for your marathon? And you have to say, oh, you know what, I haven't even started yet. That doesn't feel good, does it? And so when you use these two together to commit in advance for something in the future, That is going to help you get the right behavior in the present. So, next thing about this before I go into the resolutions part. So, to quickly recap, New Year's, aka not yet. Meaning, if it was important to you, why aren't you starting now? You need to find your reason why. The reason why you must do it. The reason why you must succeed. The reason why failure is not an option. And the technique in a video that I'm going to give you below in the description is the trail of whys. Go through it, or if you still don't like this video, go through the video from someone else. There's more people making this kind of content, but look it up, trail of whys. And that helps you hone in into that burning desire that's going to make this not yet turn into a now. And again, if you like this video, if you're like this, hit that like button, subscribe for more. So, with that said, we also have the present bias that we just covered, which is a way in which your mind is fundamentally flawed in decision making, and you use these two techniques I just talked about to start overcoming it. Now, let's talk about this thing here. And it's actually closely related. What does it mean when you have a resolution? A resolution means to resolve something. When you resolve something, it is done. It is over. It is dealt with. And it is definite. That's what it means to resolve something. How different is that from what most people do with their resolutions? Most people's New Year's resolutions are nothing more than wishes. They are nothing more than dreams. They are nothing more than I kinda wish, should, ought, want to. That's it. You need to resolve it. And there's another part of resolutions, which is resolute. And what that means is it is definite. It is not a wish. It is not a sorter. It is this shit gets done. That's it, period. If you look back at your own life, how many of your New Year's resolutions were actual resolute? Probably very few, right? And so it all comes together with, first of all, starting out with why do you want the things that you truly want? You know what? Screw it. I wasn't planning on doing the trail of whys in this video, but let's give you an example. Let's say you have the goal that you want to have a side hustle that earns you 5,000 a month. What you do with the trail of whys is you ask, why is this thing that I set as my goal important? And maybe it is, oh, you know, I just want to make my income on my terms so that I have time freedom. And now you take that answer you just gave yourself and you ask yourself, why is it important to have time freedom? And now you're like, maybe, you know what? I just want to be there for my kids. I hate that my boss is all the same in when I need to be at which place. And I just want to manage my own time so that I can be there for the people in my life. And you're like, huh, cool. Now you ask yourself the question, why again? Why is that important to you? And maybe as you go through this trail of whys, of taking your goal, you ask why, you take the answer, you ask why again, you ask it again, and you ask it again. And then you can continue on. Right? As you go through this, your goal of I want to have that side hustle that earns me 5k a month, that can turn into, you know, when I think about it, growing up, my parents were never there for me. My parents were always working, they were always on a business trip. And most of the time I was raised by the nanny. I was raised by family. I was at my friends' places instead of with my parents. And so I want to be the parent that my children deserve. Now, if we talk about being resolute in your actions, in your decisions, which of these is going to help you become that person? Which one is going to help you get the burning desire so that you will take action now instead of saying, not yet, I'll do it next year? The answer is simple, right? It is the deeply rooted emotional reason. This is how you get it. And so once you get these fundamental pillars in place, once you start thinking about why you truly want something, once you start saying, this is what I want, this is what I'm working towards, and this is what I will get, that's it, period. Once you can say it with that kind of conviction, now you're making an actual resolution. And by the way, I don't know when you're watching this, but you can do that today. Right where you stand. You don't need to wait until next week, next month, next year, next lifetime. Because tomorrow can easily become never. So make the decision to get crystal clear on what it is that you want. Get crystal clear on that. Figure out in your heart of hearts why you need to succeed. Why you must succeed. Why failure is not an option for you. And start every single day by mapping out what you should be focusing on, how you're gonna get from where you are to where you want to go. Start figuring that out, and from there on, you start training your discipline. Because this road, this path upwards, it is not an easy one. Absolutely not. You will be met with adversity, with people challenging you, with people saying you're stupid for even trying. You will be met with the roadblocks of your own mind. And there are so many things that can get in the way. What you should be focusing on is training your discipline. Like I said, training. It is a skill, and you're not going to go from 0 to 100 immediately. You're going to maybe try at first to make this change, and you're going to stick with it for a week or two, and then you fall back, but then recover quickly. That is just your training, and then you try it again. You get back to your reasons why, you get back to why you must succeed, and the next time you make that sprint, maybe you go for 3 weeks or 4 weeks. And over time you go from, I did 20% of what I said I was going to do, to I did 40%, to I did 45%. And maybe you have a bad period in your life where you go back and you're like, oh my god, I only did 30%. And then afterwards you keep forcing yourself, you keep pushing yourself, and you keep moving forward. And now it's like, you know what? I did 55% of what I said I was gonna do this week. And it's like you did more than you didn't do. And you went from a state of laziness, of procrastination, of just making excuses, to taking action. And as you progress through that, now you're gonna get to a 70% done. And then maybe 80 or 90, right? Even the top performers in the world, they don't reach 100% of what they want to do. Even the top performers, they don't every single day make optimal use of their time. That's called being human. But this is about building the skill of doing what you say you're gonna do, and you build that up over time. Now, one other trick before I'm gonna send you off, because this has been a long video, and by the way, I truly appreciate you watching this far into it. I truly do. The one final tip I'm gonna give you is to really think about the people around you and building your circle, building your network the right way. Because if I put you in a group of friends where you live together, where you eat together, where you work together, with people who go to the gym every single day, and every one of them is competing about who can lift the most weights. If I put you in that circle, and that becomes the people you hang around with most, you are gonna start going to the gym more often, even if you're not going today. However, if I put you in a group of people who eat McDonald's every single day, who complain about everything in life, who never take action, you will become more like those people as well. So if you want to make this entire change behind me possible, look at the people in your life. Spend less time with those complaining. Spend less time with those who drag you down. And if you move up and people try to pull you back, maybe it is time to sever that tie. Or even just to limit the time spent with them. And to look for new people in your life. The people that when you try to move up, they take your hand and they pull you upwards. They motivate you, they inspire you. As you make that change, you go from where you are to where you truly want to go. Get rid of this not yet mindset. Today is the only day you can make change. Because tomorrow never comes. Because when it is tomorrow, it is today. Right? So start right now where you are. And maybe that is a crawling space for you. Maybe that is just as simple as, you know what, I'm going to go for a 5-minute or 10-minute walk. When you are sitting at home, feeling terrible about yourself and you can get nothing done. I don't know where you are at. But the thing is, you don't have to be great to start. But you have to start to become great. So no matter where you are at in your life, start taking that first step forward right now. And I would love to see you succeed, to hear your success stories once you take the time to dedicate it to yourself, to dedicate it to your growth, because you know that you are worth more. That's why you're here. That's why you're sitting through this entire video. And if you take the action steps required, you will get there. That is just the law of nature. Start today, my friend.